Hey, welcome back to the Buck Junkies Podcast. We are back in action here at the farm. What's going on today, fellas?
She watching, see if it's going to rain or not. They say rain, not rain, might rain.
I thought it was supposed to storm last night.
It didn't do nothing at the house.
Yeah, it didn't rain at my house at all. It's trying to drizzle this morning.
It rained hard on me coming down.
It did. Did it on?
No, I mean, it didn't rain on me coming down. There was, I stopped and picked up some stuff at the co-op or whatever and was worried about it. It looked like it was going to rain, but it never did.
Mark, we got down here early this morning.
It was sun shining. We got here.
Yeah. It was like, I watched the sun come up and I left the house. I was trying to get down here to see if I could hear a turkey. But we've been trapping.
Been catching.
We have been doing some predator control.
Backtrack for a second. Did you hear a turkey?
No, I didn't hear anything.
All turkeys lie. All turkey hunters lie.
I didn't hear nothing. I'll tell you what I did see this morning. Every daggum animal I passed was on his feet up and moving.
Really?
Cows was in the fields, the donkeys, the horses, the llamas, all that. What farm I drive by, everything was out eating this morning. So I like a day. What do y'all think about that? You're getting up, going hunting, getting up, going fishing or whatever, and you see all the animals stirring. That's a good sign.
Day.
That's a good sign.
My great granddad always said if the cow was laying down, fish wasn't biting, deer wasn't moving, birds wasn't, you wasn't going to kill nothing. You might as well go back to the house.
Have you ever put that to the test to see if it's truth?
I mean, when I didn't see nothing, I used that as an excuse, I guess. But
my problem is I look at them like me and Mikey did it a couple mornings. I was like half of them's laying down, half of them standing up. What does that mean?
You might
50-50 chance.
I'll take a 50-50 any day.
If they're all down, though, you can forget going fishing.
I guarantee you all that stuff does play a part in something. I mean, it's got to.
I sent Mikey a video the other night, and I told Mark about it this morning. We passed a pecan tree. It was about frost. I'd never heard his old wives' tale that you don't plant anything in the ground until you see a bud on a pecan tree.
Yeah, I seen I don't know if TikTok, Facebook one the other day, a post about that.
That's where I saw it. I think it was on TikTok, but it was, if you see, don't plant, but if you see a bud on that tree, it's safe to go.
Yeah, frost is done for the year at that point, supposedly.
I think
to test that theory.
Well,
find a pecan tree.
Me and Mark looked this morning. There ain't a bud on it, is it? Unless that tree's dead. Y'all didn't hack and squirt it, did yeah. They're right there by the pond.
That's a hickory nut tree.
No, there's a pecan tree there.
I think it's a pecan tree over there. I know I know one at my house.
There's a pecan tree there. Yeah, I call it a wild pecan tree, but it's a pecan tree.
I'll check the one at the house and see.
There is a hickory nut tree up there too.
Huh. But the possums and coons was on their feet.
Everything was moving last night, according to our traps.
I think we ended up with 6 possums and 3 coons.
That's a nine critter morning. I'll take that.
That's pretty good.
So what's your rate on? So you had 9 this morning? How many traps you have out total?
30, probably 32. I think I don't lost count because I
couldn't keep up with all of them. I'd have to X all of them or something. Ain't no way I can remember them.
You just get your routine. You ride the same trail every day and ride by them.
Trap line.
That's it. So we started this after the last podcast. It's 5 days ago. This was the 5th morning, right?
We put them out Thursday night. So this is Tuesday morning. So yeah, they put out Thursday night. Our first official run was Friday morning. And then we haven't been skunked yet. No pun intended. We hadn't caught a skunk, and we've caught something every morning. So
man, what do you do there, Mikey?
What's that? You catch a skunk?
Yeah.
Who was he talking about at work yesterday that got for real skunked?
That was your daddy.
That was Daddy talking about.
He called me.
That's right.
He called me. They had caught a skunk in a live trap. They had set a live trap for, I don't know if it was for the skunk or not, but they caught it. Well, they didn't put nothing over it.
They put a beach towel.
They threw a beach towel.
He went up there with a beach towel. They said there wasn't nothing over it. He said, how does he get up there to it to get it without it spraying him? I said, grab a bed sheet or something that'll cover him and hold it up in front of him. And just walk up as slow as he possibly can and just drape it over it real easy like. Well, he took a beach towel that didn't cover him up, and then he stepped on the beach towel. I think he jerked it off out of his hands, and it sprayed him.
Oh, man. If we'd had that on video.
Oh, yeah.
He got one arm dusted.
Did he go to puking?
I don't. He said, Daddy said,
had to. If it got on him,
Yeah.
I don't know many men that can not gag if you get hit direct.
I only know one guy, and it's been years ago, he got sprayed coon hunting, and he called his wife and said, get this. He got butt naked. He's down in Tunica, stripped down. He said, I left boots, hat. He said, I didn't bring no clothes on. And I
jumped in the truck naked and drove
drove
home.
home. He said, man, I had to pull over and have my head out the window puking. It was so bad. He said, my eyes were burning, throat was itching and burning. He said, it was horrible.
How do you get it? You can't get it out of the truck.
No,
You just got to wear it
you just
out.
had to wear it off.
I mean, I know we've coon hunting years ago. Dogs get sprayed. And I'm talking about before the night's over. It don't matter where you go in the woods. Your eyes are burning. I mean, the whole woods smell like a skunk. I mean, it's horrible.
I had to catch a skunk out of a guy's garage last year. He called me and asked me when I come out there and help him get it out of the garage. And I get there, and this skunk was up in the corner of his garage by a lawn chair, one of the fold-up lawn chairs, and there was like a little shelf, like, I don't know, a armoire or something sitting over there, and I could see the skunk's tail sticking out from under it. He was like, well, how are we going to get that thing out of there? Well, I reached and grabbed the chair, was going to try to, like, move some stuff out of there to, try to get him where I could see him, So I grabbed the chair. When I pulled the chair, he came with the chair. He had gotten up in that lawn chair, and it had closed up on his leg and had him pinned.
Oh, no. Oh,
so
no.
I couldn't trap him. So I had to go in there with a bed sheet, hold it up in front of me, and just kind of drape it over him and the chair and the armoire all at once, and then drag the chair out, drag the skunk out.
Was he spraying everywhere?
No, I was just real easy with him, and then as it came out, it slid off the armoire and kind of fell on top of him. I just kind of eased him out in the driveway and took him out in the yard.
Let him go?
No.
Oh, you dispatched him?
That's the only thing.
Yeah.
It's not, there's no in between. I mean, you either make it out or you get sprayed.
Yeah.
There's no halfway or 50-50. You're either, it's
Almost got
yeah.
it. No.
No, ain't no almost to it.
Yeah, I asked that guy. I said, you want me to just turn him loose? He said, hell no. He'll come back up in this garage.
Did he have
Shoot him.
cats or something?
Mm-mm.
Cat food? He just
No, he just came
Right.
up in there. I shot that thing through that white sheet, and it just went poof. Yellow stuff went everywhere, all over the sheet. And I went to gag, and man, it's bad. Even under that sheet, it was bad.
I mean, it's bad if you got guys that are shooting skunk at night with thermal, and you see a cloud come out of that skunk when you shoot it, and it shows up on thermal. You know it's got to be bad.
Houghton.
It's pretty rank.
So next week, Mark's he gonna be podcasting from the porch. He been and got sprayed.
I ain't gonna get sprayed.
Oh, you're going to put that Ruger on out.
Long distance, yeah.
If you get him in that arm trap, you might as well shoot him and just leave him there for a while.
Come back, get him
Trapping all.
Just let him calm down.
Yeah, let him calm down.
Now, we had some buzzards sitting on one. We had that coon couldn't have been on there long because he was trying to go up that pine tree. I got it on video. But there was some buzzards sitting there waiting on him. Yeah. They're mad because
That's been the thing is if we're riding up on a trap, if you see a buzzard, like it's almost a guarantee something's in it.
Yeah.
And I mean, like to say that coon was plenty of lively. We've had a eventful last few days for sure. I've learned a lot with the trapping side of things.
So, Mark, what can you catch a coon with? What's the secret weapon?
Man, it's the critter catcher 1000.
Some bad stuff, ain't it?
So we started out using honey buns, cherry pies, the little fried pies, and then
Heck, that'd catch me.
That's what I said. If I come through here and you got that honey bun sitting there, I'm going to see what it's about.
and then when we went to the NWTF, I bought some Coon Buster, which is from, I can't remember the guy. It's North American Trapper, I think. He's got a big YouTube channel, and he catches a crap load of stuff. But I bought some of his kit. That's where we bought the traps from. I bought a case of traps, and then he had like a little bait special. It was the Coon Buster, which is basically looks like cat food, corn. It's got something sweet in it. And then I had the magnet, what they call coon magnet. And it's just like an oil you spray on the trap. And man, all that worked excellent. Because I mean, the first night we caught a coon within an hour of putting the trap out.
Is it expensive?
Yes. Well, it's expensive for what it is. Like I want to say, I ordered a gallon of it, of the bait, and it was $100. So I mean, it's kind of pricey.
Yeah, that's pretty high. That's like a paint can.
Yeah. But so I ran out and didn't have nothing. We used a couple more honey buns. I was like, well, heck, I can make this. Like I can come up with something that might be close enough. So I went to Tractor Supply, bought some Temptations. I think it was called salmon and shrimp cat food. And then got some cracked corn, some whole kernel corn. And then back there in the clearance, they had some deer attractant that was butterscotch and what was it? Green apple and butterscotch.
The liquid?
Liquid. And it smells nothing like green apple or butterscotch. It smells like grapes to me. And so I took all that, mixed it up, put a whole bottle of vanilla concentrate in a 5-gallon bucket, and I made about 30 or 40 pounds of it for about $50 or $60. So we got a lot of bait right now, and it seems to be working.
What'd you spray Emily with the other night?
Ooh, that's a sore subject. I bought some crawfish oil from the fishing tackle section.
So you were making?
God.
Were you going to make the spray with the crawfish oil?
I was, because like all those coon traps have, or coon bait has like some type of crawfish oil in it. Well, it doesn't smell fishy. Like what I had out there did not smell fishy at all. So I went to Walmart, bought 2 things of, it says crawfish scent. And man, I opened it up.
Like spray on your lures.
Yeah, it's like an oil you squirt on. It's pretty
Yeah.
thick. Dude, that stuff smells horrible. It smells like rotten salmon.
It's that little stinker stuff.
Somehow in a test mode, he spritzed Emily.
Yeah, so like I was smelling, I was like, here, smell it. Of course, you know, when somebody tells you to smell something, you don't. She wouldn't want to smell it, and she wouldn't get close. Well, I was just going to like puff it a little bit so it kind of burp some air out. When I squeezed it, the bottle popped, and it did. It squirted half that bottle all on her shirt, down her chest.
Oh gosh.
She got it all over. And needless to say, she was in the driveway gagging, yanking shirts off, and it was eventful.
What were you doing?
I was
Running?
dying. I was
I
laughing.
figured she's trying to kill you.
Heck no, I wish I'd have caught that on camera because it was freaking hilarious.
And that's 2 that we missed out on. Pop's getting sprayed by a skunk. Emily getting the crawfish oil.
Mark still ain't got off the couch.
No.
Yeah.
He got a sleeping bag and a pillow
You
on
and
the
Gus
couch.
have to sleep
I
out.
mean, really and honestly, it's not a bad thing because I don't want to lay beside old dead fish, you know? It could be worse. But no, I've enjoyed the last few days. I've learned a lot. And, you know, really, it's cool to like go through the steps, go through the motions, and then know, you know, we were talking about this morning, like how many, I guess, eggs would be in a turkey nest on average?
20 plus, isn't it?
See, it's somewhere around 20.
That's what
So-
I guess.
so you
18,
think-
25, something.
One coon could get in that nest and wipe that nest out in one sitting
Easy.
easily. And it's not that he's going to eat all of them, but he's going to bust every egg. You know, that coon's going to destroy that nest.
So the thing about it is, it's more than just that coon. You got, heck, 6 or 8 other predators out doing the same thing that's knocking out the turkey nest and, I mean, everything like that.
Yeah. I think it makes a big difference. And, I mean, like I say, we've only been doing this 5 days, and we were up to 30 total between coons and possums. So, I mean, and we're not talking about a lot of acreage. I mean, we're only talking on, what do you say, 300 acres roughly?
Yeah, total. I mean, it's like
So-
350 total.
I mean, I don't know what the range on a possum and coon is every night, but I'm sure it's more than an acre. So, I mean, we put a pretty good dent in them, and we still got a few days to go before turkey season kicks off. And I'm going to pull them up well in advance of turkey season. That way we kind of have some quiet days on the property before turkey season.
Well, that's the big thing with these traps. You got to check them every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
the hardest thing
Yeah.
is like doing that. You know, you go out and set traps. I mean, if you set them on the weekend, you put out a few traps, you know, you catch a couple of coons. Well, when you set them on Saturday night, if or the next night, if you're not coming back, you know, you
Can't leave them like
you
that.
can't
leave
just
'em
leave
out.
them like that. That ain't right. You know, I mean, I talk about shooting stuff and dispatching stuff a lot, and I know a lot of people think, well, he's just a butthole, you know, mean and
Yeah, just killing animals.
but
No, that's not what it's about.
Yeah, that's not it. And I'm not the type of person going to leave one in no trap
Yeah.
like that neither.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, it's trapping, and yes, it has its side. I guess it has its negativity to it, but it is up to you, the trapper, the hunter, whatever, to do your part to respect that animal and do everything you can to do it properly.
And I mean, like the coons, I mean, we got somebody doing something with every coon that's been killed. It ain't like they're getting thrown off in a ditch or
Right. No, I
wasted.
got a tub full of them out there in the walk-in cooler right now.
Find us a possum man would be all right.
Yeah.
You know, anything does to do with them possums,
Start cutting the tails off, I guess. I don't know.
use it for.
I don't know. When that one wrapped his tail around my finger this morning, I almost gagged, though. God.
Oh, now I did see a fella's got a business online where you could buy koozies. He has like possum koozies and coon koozies. Remember how we saw the lady at the
the lady that had the coon koozie.
Yeah.
Possum pan.
Maybe we need to send them to him. Just
Would
let
you-
him make some money and just send us 4 possum.
Have you ever
koozies.
skinned a possum?
No.
Heck no, possum gives me the heebie-jeebies, man.
Jokers are greasy looking, man.
I mean, them things carry some. I've seen them crawl out of dead cows and dead animals.
It's out of the cavity. Yeah.
Man, they eat some nasty stuff. Coon, I don't mind the coon, but them possums pretty nasty.
We may have to barbecue one of these big coons.
That one this morning was a stud now.
He'd look good
He was-
splayed out there on that outlaw.
He was a big one. I'm going to let you put that coon in your outlaw.
Would y'all eat barbecue coon if I cooked it?
I will.
Yeah,
Try it.
I always said,
I've eaten it before. I like barbecue.
I used to say I would, but after eating that mountain lion, I told myself I'm not eating nothing that eats another piece of meat. I can't. I just, man, that thing was so bad.
I wouldn't eat that. That was one thing. When that dude tried to make us, or he offered that up to me, I was like, no.
Man, it looked like pork. It did not taste
I've
like
heard it. People eat bobcats and cows.
There's several
too.
guys around here that we hang out with that swear by bobcat. They say it's just really, really good white meat.
I was too close to Mr. Smokey at the house, so I can't eat.
I try it. Not smoky, but I try the bobcat.
I bet he tastes a lot better than a bobcat. He's been eating Temptation, grain-fed salmon and whatever it was.
Tastes like fish.
You think he'd be fishy?
Yeah, he'd probably be.
Salmon Temptations. The possums may be then, or coons.
So if somebody's never trapped before and wants to, I'll say my spiel, and everybody kind of go around. What is your first step? And if you wanted to say, I'm going to trap this weekend, and you got the foothold traps.
You already got your trap.
You already got your traps.
The foothold traps are probably the easiest to start out with, hands down.
So what do you need? You need the trap, but you can't. You got to buy like what you found. So it's pretty easy.
Yeah, Jody's helped me a lot, and I definitely appreciate it because he's been doing this for a while, and they just got done trapping on their property. He bought these little cable tethers, and one is looped on both ends, and you put a quick clip on one end, and all we've been doing is looping around a small tree, and then you hook it to your chain on your foothold trap, stick your foothold trap in the ground, bait it, and you're good to go.
Even if they pull the trap out of the ground,
they're not going nowhere.
They're not going anywhere.
And we've only had one instance where we lost a coon, and me and you got that on camera. And I'm assuming it was a coon. Heck, I don't know. The way that sung tore the woods up, it might have been a mountain lion. I don't know.
Mikey might have an idea how that thing got out. So what had happened? So, like Mark's saying, they take that foothold trap and it's got a wire lead tether on it around a tree. Well, the coon or whatever was in it had pulled the trap out of the ground, went up a tree and then over a limb and got it knocked.
Like over a limb 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, got the trap wrapped to where it was facing back down. It had to be hung up in there, but it was.
He was gone.
Nothing else would have put that trap double wrapped around a limb up in the tree.
Yeah, it had to been. It was probably a coon. It probably didn't catch him very good. It probably just caught him by the fingertips or something. Where he didn't
pulled
catch his
himself
whole arm,
out.
He got up there and spun around that thing where he, was horsing on it hard enough. We had enough, where he's pulling leverage on it, where he pulled his hand out.
We were talking about how that coon had got out of that trap, and it had pretty much whooped a bunch of the bark off the trees.
He put in work.
Tell he's been working to get out of there. I think that's that stud 25 pounder he's been looking for, Mark. He's a grown one. His arm was too big for that trap.
A big coon will get out of a trap.
Huh?
A big coon will get out of a trap.
That's what you told me that they could get out of the cage traps. The bigger ones can.
Yeah,
a coon is not dumb. They're pretty daggum smart.
No. They know.
So I asked Mark this, and he's new too. So what's the chance, like say you catch one or they come and they don't get caught, are they going to come back, or are they smart enough to not come back and mess with that trap? Or
I ain't never been able to test that theory or nothing like that. I've caught the same animal 2 different times.
Exact same coon.
Yeah. The reason I know is, and it's going to sound bad, but he chewed his foot off.
Oh, you would know. It shows up.
And then you catch him and he, was missing a foot. He done kind of healed up or whatever.
Same trap. Like exact same location too?
No, not in the exact same location, but I think he may stay away from that location because he, understands that there's danger over there and there's something he got hung up in. So he's probably going to be leery of that area, but you probably could catch him in another different spot.
So on your sets, Mark, have you caught multiple coons and possums on the same trap? Are you finding areas are hotter, or is it all spread out?
It's pretty spread out. Of course, we got some spots that are jam up that we've just about a guarantee every time.
What do you think special about those spots?
Hardwoods. You're next to hardwoods, you're next to oak trees, you're next to big den trees. They got food. They got a lot of times it's around a pond or a ditch or somewhere where they got water. And I'm setting them up similar to how we would if we were deer hunting. I'm looking for that good trail, and it may not necessarily be a coon trail, but it's some animal is walking down that trail somewhere.
Well, we discovered that from running cameras. It's not. Growing up, everybody always thought that was a deer trail only, but it's not. That's like a wildlife road,
I think if on your property, say you want to set traps, kind of like we were talking earlier, get your foothold traps. The bait is simple. Go to Walmart, buy some honey buns. That's been the pretty much guarantee. It's simple. It's cheap. You know, if you get out there the next day and you got ants on it, just shake the trap out, put you a fresh honey bun. You're not going to keep the ants off of it. So, I mean, that is one thing, is checking them daily and keeping the bait fresh, I think makes a big difference.
But you ain't put the whole honey bun in the little, it's just, you're talking about tearing the pieces of it off.
I take a stick, I set the trap, or excuse me, let's start from the beginning. I'll take the trap, I run the little lasso around the tree, I pull it tight, I set the trap, and I stick it in the ground, and I take some leaves and cover up the cable a little bit. Then I take a stick, I keep a stick in my bait bucket, and I'll take a honey bun and tear it, and I'll put some down below the trigger.
So they got to get down in it. They have
to reach below the trigger, and then I just put, you know, I'm using that corn mixture right now, so I'll put a little bit of that in, and I top it with the big old honey bun right there on top, so they see it. And there's a lot of things you can do outside of. We'll mix up some water and vanilla and spray around it. You know, just you're trying to make something smell good to you, in my opinion. I'm not, and Mikey, you can talk on this too. I'm not using sardines or any kind of meat because I feel like you're guaranteed going to catch more possums that way. Yeah. I mean, the possum is going to be on that fishy smell. Coon, I mean, our ratios are more coons than possums right now. Now, the possums come in strong today.
We're 16 and 14.
Yeah. So, but it's simple. Like I say, get you some foothold traps, you know, get the cables, or Mikey, use the stakes.
So what's the primary difference there? What do you think, Mikey? I mean,
or what? Hang on. What is the stake? What am I referring to?
And it's a piece of like sharpened rebar with a nut welded on the top of it. It's about 2 foot long, 2.5 foot long. What do you do is you just take it on that hasp on the end of the trap. You just push it through there and then beat it in the ground.
So they're not pulling that trap out of the ground. It's staying in the ground.
No.
And if you're on location by a ditch or something like that, or water or something, they don't have a bunch of trees or shrubs.
So that's the advantage to using the stake. You don't have to have a tree big enough to cable it around.
And I think too, it has its benefits because if you are on a stake, you can keep that coon away from a tree and it can't climb a tree like it did with us.
Yeah.
And, you know, it climbed the tree that the actual trap was tethered to. And I don't know, like I say, it may be some benefit to that.
Well, it may be where, you know, you got a big bore coon that can pull the trap out of the ground. Maybe you need to stake the trap and cable it to a tree. They can't go nowhere.
They're going to pull the trap out. I mean, you're only talking a little 3 or 4 inch stake. It's just holding the trap upright. It's meant to be pulled out, but with it being staked and you make sure that stake's, you know, 10 foot a radius, there's nothing it can climb or get tangled up in. If you have one that's, you know, tricking you, you do have that option.
That was one reason I prefer the stakes a lot of times over the cables, like what Mark was talking about. I mean, when you got a runner cable that's, you know, is pretty long, I mean, that thing, an animal will wind up around everything.
Oh, it does.
It does. It winds around every little tree around there. I mean, we had one possum. He had made a 3 foot diameter around where the tree had been lassoed. You could tell it looked like a racetrack, like a NASCAR track around there.
I started doing it because when I was trapping in the city and stuff like that, you know, in people's yard and stuff, when I did those cables, you know, it would, if I'd put it in a flower bed or something like that, they would destroy that flower bed. Like they would rip up everything. They would tear down all their little shrubs and he'd be wound up in everything. So he done ruined the flower bed and they were mad at me for doing it. So the least amount of motion that I could, you know, that I could hold him to, that's what I did by staking them.
Did you have to make those or can you buy them?
I bought them. I bought, like, you can buy traps off of like Midway USC.
Well, yeah, I was talking about the stakes.
You can buy those too.
Buy those, there's some welding, you know, nut to a piece of rebar.
I think a dozen of them were like, they were $25 or something like that.
Did yours come with the leads or did y'all have to buy those?
We bought the leads separate, and then we did buy, I can't remember where he ordered them from. He might have got them from Tractor Supply, but it's basically play set anchors. And they're about that long, like kind of what we anchor a deer stand with, but a lot smaller. And you
corkscrew looking stuff. Yeah,
you can run them in the ground if you don't have rebar or something like that. But you have options, and we were talking about this morning, like the trapping deal. It's kind of, you're playing the game, you're fooling the animal, but it's not that intensive. It's not that hard. Like you can get out there and do it. Yeah, you may have to move your traps around to catch something. You may not catch nothing. But as far as the physical labor of you setting the traps and maintaining them, the worst part is just making sure you're checking them every day.
Yeah, I mean, you got to, it's just like deer or anything else. You got to find something they really like, you know, because when I was trapping in the city and stuff, I used peanut butter and cat food. That was it. And mostly peanut butter. And man, I'd catch them every night. You catch them every single night. But then you come out here and We've caught a few with the peanut butter,
because
but
we
not
trapped
many.
last year, and we never spent like a week doing it.
No.
We did like you were talking about. You'd set them out maybe on Saturday or Friday or Saturday. You might get to check them twice, and then we had to pull them up because we weren't coming back every day.
And two, I think trap numbers makes a huge difference.
Improves your odds, right?
Right. So
More traps you run.
If you just put out 5 or 6 traps, you might catch 1 or 2 here and there, but you put out 30 traps, you might catch, like we did this morning.
Yeah, 9 animals.
9 animals in the morning. So, I mean, it depends on how in depth you want to get. And I would have never jumped in and done it. Like I say, this is all new to me. I would have never jumped in and done it near about this way without Jody because I didn't know, and he already had the majority of the traps. I just bought a dozen and we split those up. And, I want to say we'll probably this weekend, we're going to come down here Thursday evening and we're going to set some traps.
Did you run a dozen? Do you remember how many you bought?
We never ran a full dozen. I think we ran like 6 or 8 maybe.
Yeah. Do we have a dozen here too?
I had to look and see.
That was what I was wondering. Is there like a number that you'd be looking for? If you say you got 100 acres, how many traps should you put out? Just depends on your
many
land.
as you want.
Yeah.
But
I would say,
like Mark's getting into now, see what he's with him catching like more possums than he's catching coons. Coon ratios done went down, so there are not as many of them,
which is good, right? That's what we want.
So now you're gonna start picking up your pods. I mean, I'm just saying this is from experience. When I was trapping around town and stuff like that, when they had a bunch of coons or something like that, and they wanted me to get them out of the yard because they were getting in the house or in the cat food
Trash
or whatever.
Yeah.
I would go out and when I started catching more possums, I knew I just about got all the coons.
And see, that's kind of what my plan is. We get done today. I'm going to take some of these that aren't as popular, aren't, caught as many, and we're going to move them up here to the hardwoods behind the house and, get up in the woods with them. Cause that definitely, this front portion of this property right here has been killer.
Coon deep.
Yes. And
I don't know there's no way you know how many's on a property.
No.
No.
I don't know what the average is in Mississippi. If there's been a study on it or anything.
I would bet, I would say probably 4 to 5 an acre. If it's
you got
hardwoods.
that many, 4 to 5 an acre?
So.
Because you think about it, that's a lot of coons, Mark.
That's a lot. It depends on where you're at.
Just on this place, it'd be well over 100.
Because you got to think where there's one, there's most likely 2 relatively close.
Yeah,
and
it's a lot of coons, man.
I sat in Border Patrol this year and seen 5 at one time.
Yeah,
there was I got hired one time.
Coons per acre. That's a good question.
Yeah.
Let me see if it's an answer.
I got hired one time to go trap coons at this casino.
Yeah.
They were out back in the garbage cans. And when the lady called me, she said, every night she said, I'm not exaggerating. There's at least 100 to 200 coons out here in these freaking trash cans.
Well,
like
they're dumping the buffet trash and everything.
Oh yeah, they were coming off that river, coming up them casinos and eating all that garbage.
Buffet.
They that restaurant.
Oh, they done
empty
found Coon Utopia. That's the best thing ever happened to a coon. The casinos come.
Yeah.
So how many did you catch?
She didn't hire me.
Oh, she wanted. What's the going rate for trapping a coon?
I told her I would either do a flat rate or it was $100 an animal.
Yeah.
An animal.
Was she gonna let you relocate them or dispatch
She
them?
didn't care.
Gone. Okay.
But she had them inside too. They had
What do you
gotten
mean
in.
inside?
They had gotten inside.
Inside the casino, like where the
Inside
slot
the
machines
casino.
and stuff are, or in the back
Where
where
the
kitchen-
restaurant was.
Okay. Oh, can you imagine that? You up there trying to get your shrimp or
And a
crab
coon runs
legs.
across the top of the
That coon.
buffet.
he's up there with a pair of tongs, getting him a big old cluster out.
Steals a cluster and runs.
They'd have a problem.
Oh, they had a serious problem.
They didn't hire you?
No, because she told me that I had to be very discreet. I could only come in there at certain times. I couldn't say anything to anybody. I had to sign some kind of contract. And I was like, ma'am, that if the health department or something about it comes down there, they're shutting y'all down.
Yeah.
Like you've already told me the problem.
Here's what I see. They have done told you what the problem was. So now I can't believe they didn't hire you.
Well,
Because how come you didn't go to Channel 5
well
talking about what's going on at the casino?
that's what I told her. I ain't signed no contract. So now you done told me the problem. I was like $100 an animal. She said she started doing the math.
She knew she had 200 coons. She was like, holy smokes. We
It was like $20,000 for me to trap all them coons. And she was like, no. And I was like, well, if you want me to come in the casino and all that 3 o'clock in the morning when nobody's at the buffet,
Yeah.
set traps, and then I got to come back at 3 o'clock the next morning and check them and climb around up in that, in the walls and up in the attic and all that stuff. No.
All right.
I told her I was a pass on that one.
Estimated upwards of 20 million coons in North America.
20 million. Okay. How many acres are in North America? You can do a ratio real quick. We got to get our CPA.
The largest recorded wild raccoon ever caught and weighed was 63 pounds.
It might have been at Tunica Casino. It might have been down there at Samstown or wherever.
I've seen one. I've seen 150 in Wally. Our old taxidermist said he had caught and killed one that was 60 plus.
Yeah, it was pretty big.
That?
From nose to tail, it measured 55 inches.
That's there's a size. It's a size that trunk right there.
That's 5 foot. It's just half as big as a lab. I mean, like Sadie, I think she weighs 72 pounds.
Can you imagine how bad that rascal is?
No. It's like a little bear.
A 10-pound coon's pretty freaking tough.
Oh, they're mean.
You don't want the dogs on him.
Yeah,
kill a dog.
Eat a dog, pack of dogs up. Yeah.
It's hunting clubs. I know of one right now that's paying way up in the thousands to hire somebody to come over there just for a week or two just to get rid of the coons, the possums, and they're seeing a point now to where the coons are getting distemper. Yeah, and
almost like rabid or.
Well, yeah, I've killed one that had distemper, so it's.
I've seen a couple, and they're almost like a deer with CWD. They don't.
Yeah, he
loses his mind.
He was at the house.
Yeah, they don't know. They won't pay no attention to you. They look at the most of them. The one I seen, I'm pretty sure it's what it had. It was real mangy looking.
Yeah,
but it was. I was on the tractor bush hogging, and you couldn't. I mean, you could tell it knew something was wrong, but it didn't know what to do when it seen me on the tractor. Yeah. It was something wrong with it for sure.
Fever.
This one came up on the porch during the daytime, and the kids were outside playing and ran around the front of the porch, and he was laying on the front porch. And they come back and told me there was a coon on the porch, and I walked around there. Well, he done got up. They had woke him up, and he walked to me. And I walked out in the yard, and he started just kind of following, but you could tell something wasn't right, and he would stop. And
coon, Mikey.
I was like, nah. I petted him all right with that
pet
22 rifle.
There, did he? You petted him a couple times. And sorry, buddy.
Yeah, but if you're trapping, this is one thing I want to let you know. If you are trapping, you better be trapping on your property or something you lease. Because if you're trapping for business stuff, you got to have permits.
Like we don't, like on our personal.
Well, I mean, you own this property, so we work for you. You
couldn't go to Susie's house in town and throw traps out and be legal.
Yeah.
Not even if they give you permission.
You have to have a trapping license through the Mississippi Department of Wildlife, Fish and Parks, which is we can get that. It's like $7, $8, $10, something like that. Maybe 15.
If you're trapping on somebody else's place.
Yeah. And then you can trap anywhere. If you're going to transport animals, you have to apply for another permit. And be careful when you're transporting animals, because if you get caught transferring a coon from one county to the next, heavy fines.
Alive. You're talking about alive. Yeah. We're transporting them, but they ain't breathing. But I think where Mark, you were going with that was like, so you got your traps, you got your food for a small group like us that's done, just getting into doing something for our turkeys. This trapping is, man, it's
one of the best things you can do.
It's not very hard. It's not super expensive. And I mean, it does some good.
I need to look at the dates, because there is times when you can and cannot trap.
Yeah.
Like during turkey season.
During turkey season, I don't believe you can. I know we're going to get up before turkey season for sure, but the biggest thing is, like, I want to say a lot of people really trap after turkey season, because there's two reasons. They don't want to disturb their property, which we're trying to, the benefit of us catching the coons outweighs us disturbing the property for us right now. But trap after that, of course, that's when they start, I guess, nesting after turkey.
It's prime time. I mean, if they're out looking for nests, they're going
to be roaming. So we're probably going to put them back out come, May.
The other thing you don't want to do is
traps in the middle.
Coons breed just like everything else too. So what you don't want to do is be catching
coon rut. It's got to be
when you start seeing them all in the roads.
Yeah. It's got to be spring.
February, it's got to be February, March, probably now.
So, I mean, one thing you don't want to do is trap a mama coon, and if she's got little ones up in the tree, that's
a jackpot.
Yeah, that's a jackpot for some folks.
I mean, you think about all the turkey killers you're getting rid of.
But that's a hard, that's a hard thing to swallow if you've ever done it. Because I mean, I've known people cut down trees and found them baby coons in there, and now you got to do something with them. But I mean, we're not going to find them by trapping them. But I'm just saying.
Well, Mark, what spots are you looking for? Like, since you've been doing this, I know you said we mentioned animal trails earlier. What's some other key areas where if you got some traps on and you want to put them out on your property, you'd be looking for?
I'm looking for a ditch because it's easy to see a crossing, on a ditch, hardwoods and den trees. And man,
what's a den tree? Folks don't know.
Basically a big old oak tree, or it really ain't, I guess it has to be oak tree, but it's got to be hollow. It's got to have somewhere for that coon to get up in. A lot of times you'll see the bottom section, where the roots stem out. A lot of times there'll be a hollow spot right there, a hole in an older tree. That's where they go. They go stay up in there. We got a couple of den trees back here that pretty much look like a highway, go to and from them. I mean, there's not a leaf one on the ground beside them.
And you've caught animals off them, yeah.
And that's kind of what I'm looking for as we're riding and sitting. I'm always looking for somewhere new to put a trap because we'll have some spots that are going to slow down. I mean, we already do. And man, if I see a tree that's just bare dirt around the bottom and the bark scratched all up, we're putting a trap right there. And I think what I've noticed and what seemed to help is if it's somewhere that looks good, put out 2 or 3 traps, within 10 or 15 yards of each other right there. Because you might catch 2 or 3 at once,
Have you had some sets?
I've had a set we caught 2 at once. We caught 2 coons back to back, and they were 10 yards apart. And I guess one of them hollered at the other one, told him them honey buns are daggum good, and he went on over and got him some too, But, and again, I mean, it's kind of on a property, the properties change. So you look at this property right here behind the camp versus the property down the road. It's we talk about it in deer season. It's 2 completely different properties, and trapping, we're noticing it's completely different. It's way harder to catch a coon over there, and I just don't think it's the population of coons over there as it is over here because it's not near the hardwoods over there as it is over here.
Yeah.
You got a lot of pines. I mean, we've caught some coons over there, but
had 2 this morning.
But
what have you seen, Mikey? Like when you go looking for a spot?
I mean, most of the time, like Mark's saying, I mean, if you deer hunt the property, I mean, you've been in there hunting on the property where you see coons late in the evening. You may not see where they come from, but you see the trails they go down. That was like, a den tree I told Mark about. There's one over by that ground blind. I watch coons come out of it, every evening I was over there, and they come right out of the bottom of it and walk right by the blind every freaking evening. But, they're hunters, so they're fishermen. So they like getting in the ponds, shallow ends of the pond. They like getting down there where they can wade out there and they catch minnows or dig up mussels, and same way with little shallow ditches and stuff. They're going to walk up and down those looking for food. Like now, like Mark's talking about, them being in the hardwoods, especially if you're going to trap like in the fall when acorns start falling, you can put them out there around acorns, persimmons, or anything like that if you're going to trap that late in the season. Just look for the food source, and if there's not a food source like right now that's real, it's real slim for them, they're hunting now. So they're looking for anything they can get a hold of.
That's why they find them honey. It's honey bun season, ain't it?
Plain old Jane honey bun, not glazed, which I don't know. I guess the glaze might stick out a little more, a white icing on it, but
they like it. So Mikey's got a little theory. We were using marshmallows.
Yeah.
Because it resembles an egg. And you'd set one of those on top, and it didn't matter if it was fresh or stale. The stale ones did just as good as the fresh ones, but they can't resist messing with that.
There was several times they didn't eat the bait and they got the marshmallow.
Yeah, didn't mess with. Yeah, we had them on. We did have that on camera.
I think we had viennas in the bottom of them. I think the coon stole the marshmallow and the possum ate the vienna and got hung up in the trap.
I will say, I noticed like when you use the peanut butter versus using some other kind of bait, the peanut butter gets all over that trap.
It does.
So you're gonna have a little bit more of a mess. And I mean, you're always thinking. I mean, most of the time you don't want a bare hand everything because you're leaving your scent on the traps and stuff. So you're putting on gloves. You're trying to keep that area as scent free as possible, I guess. I mean, you still got to touch some stuff, but if you use gloves, it's probably keeps that scent down some.
Yeah, to the coons and possums, it's not. I mean, it probably helps a little bit, but it's not as important like when you're trapping like predators like a coyote or a bobcat or a fox or something like that. That when you start trying to get those, that's a That's a different ball game.
That's-
Oh, yeah. If
what
you ever
Mark-
watch a TV show or hunting show where they're trapping coyotes, I mean, them guys are, it's pretty serious.
It's an art to that.
That's
Yeah.
what Mark wants to work on next. We got to talk about that. Have you ever used the snares and caught any coyotes or anything?
Not coyotes, beavers.
Beaver, yeah. A lot of people use some beavers.
We're thinking about getting some
I'm gonna get
snares.
I got to do a little more research and learn a little bit on it. And
Snares are aggravating
yeah, I bet that
because you got to
is.
figure out how, because you're just propping that hoop up. So you got to have it right where he either walks through it, steps through it, or steps on it, and it catches him. And you're going to go and you're going to find it like trip until you figure out the right, right way to open it up.
You got to do a lot of snare sets to be productive.
I bet it's about like everything. Quantity is
Yeah.
key.
You just got to watch Naked and Afraid. Them folks on there, they can put a
Making
stick,
them
stick in a
snares on
rock and catch some
vines.
stuff. Yeah.
What would you say the hardest animal in Mississippi to trap is?
I
Freaking coyote's pretty dang smart.
was going to say coyote's pretty daggum smart.
I'd say coyote or bobcat.
Yeah, it'd be one of those two.
That needs to be a goal then. See if
I
we
wanna
can
catch a
one of
bobcat.
those. We've never caught one that I know of, have we?
I say I want to catch a bobcat. I
I
watched.
know where you can catch a bobcat
I watched a guy.
down from Hilltop. Man, those jerkers you've seen. I don't know how many there and killed 2 there.
Yeah.
I watched a guy. I was looking at videos for snaring, and that's what the guy was doing. He was setting snares, and he caught it was a great big old bobcat. And you pretty much just got a pissed off cat on a leash at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And
I
that's,
wouldn't want to wrestle that joker.
I mean, you talking about he got a lead. I mean, he could run 10 foot, so you ain't just going to run up there and try to grab him, you
You need a long catch pole if you're going to
Yeah.
take him out alive.
I'll have a 22 caliber catch pole.
Yeah, that's
with me.
what it's going to It ain't but about 24 inches.
Yeah.
Is it?
You almost, if you use a catch pole, you got to get them to hold still. 'Cause, I've had to catch pole all them coons when I caught them in the city because you can't
That's
shoot
yeah,
them in the
that's the
city.
thing in the city. You're not able to.
Is that how you would get all
I
of
had to
them? You
put
had to
it-
catch pole all of them?
Yeah, when I caught them in an arm trap, I had to put a catch pole on them and then get their arm out of the trap and then set them over in like a dog carrier.
That's got to be a little tricky there. You got the pole in one hand. You're trying to step on the trap
Yeah.
and then use your hand.
When
to
you're
get
by
'em out.
yourself,
And then what do? Stick them in a kennel or
stick
something?
them in a kennel and shut
Yeah.
the door.
I don't know if you could. I don't know that you could undo a snare and a catch pole by yourself. Because a snare, you just about got to put both hands on it to unlock it. It'd be tough.
Yeah.
I wouldn't chance it.
I wouldn't want to. Yeah, you'd have to do that if it'd be shown a few times. You ain't just supposed to go out there
Yeah.
on first go.
My first time out, I'm
gonna
gonna
back up.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna catch pole him with the little
Snare,
lead.
yeah, you need to snare some possums first. They ain't as vicious.
But it's been a learning experience for me, and that's the biggest thing is
You enjoy it?
I enjoy it. It's a good time. Well,
It's fun.
It's multiple things, you may be going to places on your property that you normally wouldn't, and you're able to, find stuff, and you're basically scouting for whatever, whether it be turkey season or deer season later on. You're
Great time to pick up sheds.
Yeah.
I mean, how many times have we found a shed just riding around?
Yeah.
So the
None
more
this
you're,
year.
the more you're, yeah, not yet. I mean, it's been, I don't know what happened to our sheds this year.
I mean, they dropped late last year too.
Yeah. Well, we ain't talked about this, but we're still seeing scrapes. I don't know what's up with that.
I ain't talking about just one or two.
Oh, me and Mark were down here the other day. It was like, still wet where doe peed in it. We probably seen 10 or 12 easy just
least.
over here behind the house.
So, I guess animals would use them year round to a point, but I've never seen them that active.
Yeah.
Like, not because when scrapes start showing up during deer season, it's like you might know where a few are that they use them. That's their scrapes,
Yeah.
like public
So,
toilets all the time.
I
But
got
then when they really start popping, we're seeing that sign again
Yeah.
right now, which is odd.
So I got a question. Are we the only ones? We can't be.
Yeah.
Like, are we the only ones out there seeing scrapes this time of year? And what's the reason for it? Because I don't have the answer.
I don't either.
I've never seen a scrape in February or March.
And we've been the past few years, we've been out here this time of year scouting, looking
And never
for,
noticed it.
Yeah, never seen it like this. But this year, I don't know if there was a later, like another, all the does didn't get bred, so they were still trying to see if we had some more bucks come in that started doing that. I don't
It's
know.
definitely. I think as time goes on, I guess it's kind of the the animals are adapting to different, environments or different things going on. But what is causing that? What's going on in the world that we're not seeing or we don't know about to make these happen? Why are we seeing scrapes in February, March? Why are they, even the hot scrape that's on plantation that we had the camera on for all winter, that scrape was big as this couch, and it still is. It's still chewed up.
I don't know. I would guess overpopulation, so they still got to keep breeding.
The population being, probably has a lot to do with it, but also, most of the deer around here, we're the only ones that were planting like real food plots too. So, when we started not feeding them protein, but putting that protein out year round for them, our deer started holding their horns longer.
Yeah.
So maybe they go through that breeding cycle longer. They got more energy. They're not, they're not run down because there's abundance of food there. It could be a lot of variables there.
That's a good question for biologists. Because I may be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that, a doe is going to get bred. So she'll come, if she don't get bred that first cycle of estrus, it's just going to kick right back in. It's going to keep having cycles until it's bred. So if it didn't get bred before Christmas or in the end of January when hunting season stops in February, they could still be a few that didn't get bred.
So
that would explain why we see some little young looking does with fawns in the, around Thanksgiving, because those deer are going to drop later.
So a scrape's basically, I've never thought about it this way, but I guess a scrape is basically like the Tinder app for does. They go by peeing it and let them know, hey, we still partying.
We here.
Yeah. So, is that the case? Like, is that how it?
I understand that's how it works. It's kind of a telltale sign that, the does use them just like the bucks use them, and the bucks come because they're freshening them up for territory and to see what does are around.
I've always, growing up, you always think with scrape, it's just a buck doing it. It's just a buck scraping.
It's not.
And it's not.
All the deer use them.
We've actually seen varmints use it too.
Yeah, I've seen coyotes scatter them. They'll come up and use them.
It's so come holler at your girl payphone.
Yeah, it is. Well, I will say, like, when we were running cameras on scrapes, we probably see more young bucks and does mess with them than we do really mature bucks.
Yeah.
We see some mature bucks mess with them, but we've got a couple spots that we know are hot every year where they always scrape. And when you put a camera on those, you're going to see.
And I'm kind of like Jamie always said, like them mature bucks, they're going to go downwind. Mm-hmm. They're never going to walk in that scrape.
They can tell who's been there just by getting around it downwind.
But we're halfway through the trapping week. We're going to go
5 days and 30 animals. That's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
I don't know. We didn't really have a goal, but if we've got 40 coons per acre, we got a problem.
Yeah.
So we should see an uptick in our turkey population.
That's what
I'm hoping from doing this.
That's the whole goal. Next, so when we start seeing poults, when it comes time to put in summer food plots, because that's usually when we see them, and you have to be careful not to run over them.
Yeah.
But that's when we'll notice when we see more hatch out, and then the next fall when all the hens are grouped up.
Well, that makes sense too. Is the other property we hadn't caught near the coons, and the turkey population is way better than it is on this property.
No doubt. I was going to say that. We know we've got way more turkey over there than we do over here, and I don't know.
And we used to have a ton of turkeys behind here, but they've kind of phased out. I've seen one this spring behind the house.
Just need 2 left over there. Is all I need. 2 gobblers.
2 gobblers over here or over there?
Over there down the road.
There'll be some over there.
I seen about 6 yesterday, so they're over there.
They were blowed up yesterday.
Yeah, they were cutting up.
So talking about turkeys, youth turkey season starts in how many days?
I think it's Saturday, isn't it?
Saturday.
This Saturday or next Saturday?
It's this Saturday. Yeah.
This Saturday. So what's your plans on that? Taking Michael?
Not this Saturday. He's going. He's on spring break. So we got to make a quick trip this weekend to check on some property, but we're going to come back and he's going to go. So it'll probably be Tuesday or Wednesday before he gets in the stand. Hopefully we can calm down. If Mark and them are going to trap this weekend and pull traps by Sunday.
We're pulling traps Sunday.
I don't know what the law is. Like, how soon does those traps have to be up before
I think trapping Mississippi's maybe mid-March, March 15th.
Okay,
it's
so we're still
season.
good. Oh, yeah. So it goes by adult, opener adult.
Yeah, I think,
And they have to be up before the 15th, basically.
I think that's when it is.
We'll have them up they'll be up before we.
And we're going to be trapping on some e-bikes this weekend to be extra stupid.
Yeah. That's my whole thing. And I don't know if they want turkey or those traps up because the turkeys are going to get hurt by them, because that can't be the case. Turkeys are out year round. They don't. I mean, if the trap's going to hurt the turkeys, it probably has to do with turkey hunters not wanting people in the woods running traps. And so because more human pressure on your land is going to scare the turkeys off, just like it would deer.
Well, if you're out there messing around at night, that's why coon season shuts down, right around that time of year too. Cause
is coon season over before turkey season
during turkey
starts?
season?
I think coon season over earlier.
You're supposed to, we couldn't ever coon hunt, once turkey season started, because you're out there treeing coons or you're running traps, stuff like that. If you flush turkeys off the roost, they're flying in the dark. So, I mean, I'm not saying they can't see very good in the dark, but they, you messing up the turkey hunter. If he roosted a bird the night before, comes back in there, I'm sure a lot of politicians turkey hunt. So,
many of them
coon hunt.
I would guess there's a lot more revenue made off people buying licensed to turkey hunt and gear and all that stuff than there is.
Oh yeah,
people out
coon hunting. Yeah.
So Mississippi coon is July 1st through September 30th. That don't sound right.
There's different seasons.
Yeah, there's
for
different
it.
seasons.
Like, some of them you can use a dog, some of them you can't. You gotta.
Yeah, then it goes into
climb up there and poke him out.
Yeah, you got to poke him
Trap
out.
John Eubanks.
November 1st to March 15th. All fur bear species and nuisance animals.
That's a.
So then coon
possum falls right in there, Mark. So
coon
we gotta
also
have them
picks
up by
up
the 15th. The 14th will be the last day you have them.
And required by law, they must be checked every 36 hours minimum.
So that's I was.
So we've been doing every
24. Yeah, we've been minimum
roughly 24.
Yeah.
So when you take Michael this year, what call are you using?
Well, let's. I'm not a turkey caller, but I've been working on my mouth call now. I've been watching videos, but I choke on it more than I can get it to squall. But I can't make a good sound. It don't sound anything like if a turkey comes to with the noise I'm making, something's wrong with him. He's got a death wish. He's looking for one messed up end.
I
need you to give me some lessons, Mikey, on how to use a mouth call.
I'll give you some lessons, but I mean, I ain't the best turkey caller in the world. We just did a video, and I'm sure I'm gonna get a lot of flack on that calling with them box calls and stuff. But any call you get, you got to practice with it. Put it in there. You got to figure out pressure in the air with a mouth call is key. Where to hold it in your mouth and how much air to put over it. Depending on if it's single, double, or triple reed. And I think they even got some that got 4 reeds on.
How do you keep it from choking you? I ain't used to have nothing in my mouth.
You ain't supposed to go that deep.
Something. I don't know. I ain't doing something right.
You can trim them to fit the roof of your mouth also, and then
all your mouth calls don't fit everybody correctly. I mean, I bought some that were way too small, and they kind of I had to hold on to them with my tongue to get them set in the right place, or they'd spin a little bit, and then I've had some that the outside of the tape or whatever on the outside of the reeds went plumb out to my teeth, and I was pretty much biting on. I had to cut it with scissors. So you got to cut it. Some of them you have to trim down a little bit to get them to fit your mouth correctly.
What was the old mouth calls Daddy had that was, man, they were, no joke, they were that wide, like bat wings. Like they were huge. I can't remember what they was, but
they're probably a Quaker or something like that, HS strut, whatever.
What's y'all's favorite mouth call? Y'all got a brand or a favorite one that you like?
I mean, I've got I probably got 5 or 6 different mouth calls in my vest that I keep, and each one of them are.
You use all those when you're hunting, like each time?
It depends on what they answer. So I mean, I may put one in that it may be raspy and they may not answer it, and I may put one in that's not so raspy and it's more high pitched, and they'll answer that one.
But you're changing them while you're sitting there. If you ain't getting a response off one before you'll move,
if I hadn't roosted a bird and got one to come to me or something like that.
You got a hot one roosted up, or right where he's at.
All right. So if I do that, then I'll go with, last year I bought it was made by Meat Eater. Or Meat Eater was on the front of it, but I bought a mouth call from them, a double reed mouth call. I don't remember the brand of it, whoever's sponsoring him. And, I bought that mouth call, and it was a really good mouth call. I'm going to try that one first, and if he answers me and I let him hit the ground, once he hits the ground, if I do it again and he answers me again, I'm leaving that one in. If he hits the ground, he don't answer me no more, and and he didn't come up there within a few minutes or so, I'll put a different mouth call in.
So, I mean, will he think it's a different bird, I guess?
In.
Yeah. So you can do multiple sounds. But so when y'all are thinking, do you want a call that fits a certain way, has a certain sound, easy to blow and make a sound? What's your
all that?
All that, really? Well, that's a perfect world. They're easy. Put them in, they make the perfect sound, and you can win a championship with one.
You spend a lot of money on mouth calls.
I was just looking.
Oh,
I mean,
really?
Yeah.
I just buy the ones that.
So one of the big ones we seen at NWTF that everybody was talking about was them Woodhaven mouth calls.
That's the one that I had. That's the one that Meat Eater.
And they got several. I was just looking. I mean, there's 5 pages of mouth calls. So it's definitely, if you don't know what you're getting, it's definitely overwhelming. But what I noticed at NWTF, listening to these guys call, which I understand that kind of call is different than what you would normally do in the woods. But to me, versus like me using a mouth call and then like some of these professionals, they're way more raspy. Like it sounds like a mouth call sounds good to me. That's one of my, like, if I'm going to take anybody turkey hunter going to go, I'm just going to take a mouth call because that's what I'm best at. I'm not good at it, but I'm way better at a mouth call than I am a slate or a box. But man, some of them guys, and I think it goes back to what Mikey's saying, is where that call's placed in your mouth to completely change. And talking about changing calls, these guys were calling, they would have 2 and 3 in their hand, and they're swapping out between yelps to make it sound different. And it's definitely.
I'm gonna bring mine next podcast. Let y'all hear me.
You're gonna be like TK and Mike. We'll be beating on your back.
I want to somebody knows how to do the Heimlich. I swallow that thing, but I might bring my whole vest. Show y'all what I got.
My favorite mouth calls.
Dummy's Guide to Turkey Hunt. That's all the stuff I'm gonna have. I might even bring my old shaker gobbler.
Yeah,
I gotta find that thing.
Yeah, if you're starting out or you trying to call turkeys with a mouth call, a double reed call does really good. I would personally stay away from a single reed just because you got to put so much air over it to get.
What's the easiest one to learn to blow? That's what I'm getting at.
Double.
I should have asked y'all that.
Double reed.
Reed.
When you get into triple reed, there's so many reeds on it. Then different. If you hadn't figured out your airflow and control of your air, some of those can get a little, frustrating. But they, now they make them with like split reeds.
You ever heard of a kazoo? That's like I'm blowing.
Kazoo. Like an African animal or something over here.
No,
Maybe we just need to take the turkey call and glue it in the kazoo. That way you ain't got to put it in your mouth; just blow through it. But yeah, there's many different mouth calls. You can spend anywhere from $6 on one, and you probably spend $30 on a mouth call.
Dude, you spend more than that, I would imagine.
I just ordered a 3-pack and it was $49.99.
Yeah.
What Woodhaven?
I bought a 3-pack last year, and I don't know what the heck where they're even at. I can't find them.
I found my turkey vest. Jamie had it.
I mean, I knew where it was at.
I went through mine earlier, adjusted a little bit.
Yeah.
See what all kind of room I had to gear up.
So I actually had to.
You need to make a video of what needs to go in a turkey vest.
Yeah. They're so if you I don't know. It really depends on what you like to have in your vest. I mean, necessities in a vest. I know for sure. Toilet paper.
You always take
TP and water's priority.
TP and water's number one in a compass.
Taking the dude wipes no matter what.
Yeah.
Take your compass if you're unfamiliar with the property.
Say like on our property. I mean, we ain't that far. If you ain't got but a couple hundred acres you're hunting, you ain't that far from the truck. It ain't like we can go.
That's the thing.
Take out 1,000.
Buddy.
One guy turkey hunting can cover 100 acres easy.
That's what I mean.
I thought you'd talk about the toilet paper.
No.
You still take a toilet paper on 100 acres like you would 10,000 acres?
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
I mean, if I was on 10,000 acres, I'm going to have all kinds of survival gear. I might get lost.
Some abs.
But if I'm out here, I probably ain't, got as much.
I mean, if you're just out here, I mean, I try to carry several different calls with me. Definitely take, of course, you got a gun, you're going to take shells with you. You don't have to carry a whole box.
Yeah.
But, you got your shotgun loaded, just carry a couple spares.
I thought about that on the way down here. How many shells do you? I mean, I was put 2 in my gun and then take an extra one. Would 3 be plenty to go turkey hunting with?
I mean, yeah, as long as you don't miss.
I mean, I ain't gonna miss.
How
many would you take, Jamie? If you're going turkey hunting?
Jamie's overkill.
Yeah, I'm probably 3 in a gun, 3 in a pouch.
You gonna have 2 guns?
He look like going rabbit hunting.
I mean, you ain't gonna get a chance to shoot that many turkeys.
That's
surely.
I've shot and rolled one before.
And then had to get a
And
second shot.
And before I could get to him, he got up and ran. So I shot at him going up the hill, and he's running away from me like once or twice, and then got up on the ridge, and I finally killed him going down the other side because I don't know.
So you had 3 in your gun that day.
I had 3 in my gun, had to reload to kill him.
You did.
That's what I want to know. Somebody needs to do that. Send us a message on Facebook. What is the most shots you've ever seen at a turkey?
Had a turkey, yeah, because I wouldn't imagine
Mikey's
get 3.
taking record right now. He's
three,
up to 4.
3. Yeah, are you at 4
I
or
was
3?
at 4 on that one.
So you shot one bird 4 times.
It's a good thing Waylon don't turkey hunt.
Oh man, yeah,
That's
he
not
doesn't
good.
take case.
Now, if you smooth miss him, there pretty much ain't. I don't know
Yeah.
how many people's killed one on the second shot, but
I would guess many times you don't get more than 1 shot.
it's mainly for the if you don't if you're stretching your gun or you're shooting through,
Thicket.
you're shooting through a thicket. You got a lot of grass and little shrub bushes and stuff out
You got
there.
to shoot 1 shot to clear it out and 1 to follow it
I mean,
up.
if you try to shoot at him and you wing him up, you may have to shoot him again.
I will say this: I fired one of them TSS rounds out of my gun the other day. I fired it twice. You probably don't want to shoot that thing 5 times. It was a lot stouter than I thought it would be for a number 9 shot.
Turkey load don't play.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's what, 2.5 ounce load
I
or
don't know.
2 1/4?
I don't know what it was. It was a thumper. Now,
Well, see,
I mean,
that's like
ain't no small guy. I mean, I didn't drop the gun or nothing, but you know
it's there.
You shoot that thing.
Yeah.
And to get off 3 shots quick out of one of them,
You need
that'd be
to-
tough.
Can you pull both triggers on your over and under?
Mm-mm. It's just got one trigger on it.
That's what I want to do. Load 2 of them in over and under and just
Wow, that's punishment, man.
throw out all that lead shot at one time.
throw out the shoulder at one time.
Yeah,
That'd
I
be
didn't.
stout.
I did a little video, and we recorded it last podcast. What the gun that I'm on turkey hunt with my choke and the shells I'm gonna use.
I got to get me a choke. I'm going to go one time this year. I say one time. I'm going to go once. I hadn't been in 15 years.
Well, I'll tell you what I like. What I like about the little turkey hunting I've done is you go with somebody. It's a camaraderie thing. Like I like going deer hunting with somebody, being in the stand with somebody, having, whether one of you's calling, one of you's shooting, it don't matter to me. Doing it with somebody else is a lot of, that's how that's how the funny stuff happens to me. Something good always happens. If you're by yourself, it ain't near as exciting. I want somebody to see how foolish,
Well, if that's the
how I
case,
mess up.
if Mikey goes with me in 2 weeks or 3 weeks, I guess it's gonna be exciting. We're gonna be 4 deep.
4 deep.
Yeah, the Hope Outdoors hunt. So the first guy we're taking out, he's in a track chair. So it'll be me, Mikey, and him plus one of his family members. We're gonna be 4 deep then. So I'm anxious to see how that's gonna go.
So, and this is another question I got for you because we've never really turkey hunted out of a blind too much. And this year we're going to try to set up some blinds because we do have.
we got 2
Yeah.
different hunts coming here.
So, but I was going to put my son in a blind and try that. Well, do you want the caller in the blind with you, or does he need to be staged out to where that turkey don't know? Because why would you want to draw attention to the
Oh, they'll
blind?
pinpoint
Well,
you.
calling in the blind.
Yeah. So if you're tag teaming a turkey, you got
You don't sit
a
side by
caller
side.
with
You kind of spread
you
out.
kind of hash that out. You're shooting, I'm calling.
Yeah.
If just say there was a turkey gobbling 100 yards down the ridge in front of the blind. I'm gonna get out of the blind and I'm gonna walk about 20 yards behind the blind. 25
So he's looking.
down.
He's looking past the blind.
So he's not paying attention to you.
Yeah.
And they do that. That's a technique they do with turkey hunting, elk hunting, all that stuff. You don't,
You don't want to be calling.
I don't
want
want to be sitting right next to my shooter. I
Yeah.
want to be back behind him or off to the side of him. I want to be between him and the gobbler.
Yeah. You want the gun in between.
The gun between me and
Yeah.
the gobbler. Yeah. So I want to be back behind you, kind of where I can see you, and maybe still,
Are you going
see your movement. Like, if you start bead one down, I know he's out there, and I know, like,
You might not can see.
I may not can see him, so I don't want to just keep wailing on him. And
What do? Are you going to have a gun with you in case they come?
I'm always carrying a turkey gun with me, but
Yeah.
most of the time if I'm calling, it's just laying in the grass next to me. I'm just
So
I'm
he
just
walks up
there.
on you,
because you
Like,
never know what
circles behind you. Shooter never
Mm-mm.
sees him, and you're sitting
you're
over
the
there.
shooter. I'm not shooting.
Really?
Nope.
That'd be hard for me. if I'm the caller and I got my gun, I might as well not even take a gun.
Now, hold on now. You said you was the caller last year and you shot.
When?
The 4 times.
No, I'm talking about the one when you and Michael went.
Well, we had split up because I did go get in the blind that day. Because we knew there was 2 birds out there. And I said, well, they're either coming back here. So we said, Michael.
I thought he was calling for you then.
No.
So Michael was.
I had my own call that day.
You're doing a gobble thing.
Malcolm hit the box call this morning a couple of times.
I made some noise with it.
Yeah.
I don't know if it sounded anything like a turkey, but.
Oh, yeah, to me, a box call is easier than a mouth call as far as you learning box call.
Well, like this morning, I noticed that on your call. As wet as it was outside, that box call did not sound like it should have.
It wasn't raspy.
No.
Yeah.
You could tell the chalk was like damp.
It had been in that turkey vest since last turkey season, so it probably needs a little work.
And that's
you got to chalk
stuff.
up your box calls.
Yeah.
Because when I did that video last week, when I pulled those box calls out, when I first started calling on them, and Tyler kind of captured that on there, there was just a little bit of chalk on the bottom of both of them, and I didn't look at them. I just snatched them out of the package, went to calling, and boy, they didn't sound too good. So I wound up re-chalking both boxes and
tuning it a little bit.
There they went.
Was that like $11 call at Walmart?
The box call?
Yeah, it was like a little light colored wood, real short.
That was a Lynch. That was a Lynch little slate call. It was just a little handheld.
Yeah, see, Daddy bought that thing don't look like it's.
He bought a little bitty box.
Yeah, it's a small box call at Walmart, and it actually sounds pretty dang decent. I think he said it had on sale for like $11, $12.
Does it matter if you spend hundreds of dollars on one versus what they have at regular store?
Find one that sounds good that you like and go hunting.
Yeah. Use what you're comfortable with. I mean, I love like Woodhaven glass calls or crystal calls, whatever you want to call them. And they sound different than some of the other ones that I've had. But I mean, you can buy a Primos power crystal for $20, $22 out of Walmart or anywhere like that. And that is an excellent freaking slate call.
What was that old slate call Primos used to have that everybody got? Was it Old Yeller?
That was
like a copper
Night Nail had the Old Yeller.
Yeah, it was like a copper gold.
Turkey vest.
That's one of the best sounding slate calls that
I don't make those anymore.
But they were just, they were so like I'm not good at slate calls or box calls. I can make it make noise, but that was one of the ones. It was the easiest call that I've ever put my hands on, and it sounded good.
So you get different sounds out of different surfaces on those calls. So I mean, you got a slate call, an actual slate like a chalkboard slate. It sounds different than like a glass or what they call crystal calls.
And then I think you got to pay attention to extra call. If is all of them not going to call or sound right when it's a lot of humidity and moisture in the air, or if it's raining, you get rained on. So you need to have that's where a mouth call is a backup plan, or you can get some of the glass calls that water and humidity.
That's why they created those. Really, is because the slates were you couldn't slate damp or anything like that. Man, you'd be out there sanding and trying to dry that thing off. Because even though you didn't get it wet, it's in your turkey vest and
sweating,
or just a little bit of moisture get on it, man. And
that's a good one for you to teach me, Mikey.
That's something else. You got
to get them damp, see if they'll make noise, see if you can get them back right, or which one can work off a little dampness.
I've got a box call in my vest. It's a chalkless box call.
Yeah,
and it's like the lid's coated on the bottom with like some kind of
frictiony.
Frictiony stuff, and the box is like the lip of the box is. Oh. I don't even have to chalk it. I bought it a long time ago, just trying to find some kind of waterproof option for a box call.
Well, we ain't through talking turkeys. We're gonna come back next week, and we're gonna talk about how the Marks weekend went trapping before we wrap that up, and then hopefully we'll have youth season behind us, and then we'll have some turkey report. See if we got any action here in Mississippi where we are before. We'll actually opening day will be before we do our next podcast because spring break will be back the week after that.
That's right.
We got anything going on?
Yeah, y'all check out we got a few videos releasing this week. I think one's already released. I did I did the easiest turkey calls for beginners. That's already been released. Jamie's got a Mississippi dip sandwich coming out this week. And then,
which was
did they get Jamie's gun pattern? Because you patterned your gun.
Yeah, that's supposed to be coming out this week.
So what? I don't really know if you call it pattern your gun. It's just letting you know that just because we shot 3 exact same name brand shells, 2 different versions and 2 different shots. all out of my gun. Which my gun is set up for TSS. What I've been shooting out of it. This was not. This just something you go to Walmart and buy. So that just goes to show that. I mean, every time my gun shot high. So you got to either learn how to compensate that, shim your gun, or I guess if you're buying like a red dot scope, you can adjust all that to get your gun back down where you need it.
But the important part is shooting it and finding out.
Yeah, that was the whole point of the video. It wasn't bad mouthing the shot by no means, and it wasn't saying that was a solution. It was just letting you know that just because, I mean, you're shooting the exact same name brand shell, each shot or each version of that shell is going to be different. I mean, none of them shot the exact same. So, I mean, it's just like I say, and I did find out for sure that little blow bead on the end of a gun at 30 yards, it will cover a turkey's head up. It's you definitely got to kind of be aware of that. You're just not going to load your gun up about turkey hunting and don't expect to get
into
positive
some
results.
of that next podcast too. That's good stuff to talk about there. What gun setups, what you can do, all that.
Yep.
What about one second? All right. What about the new Facebook page, Mikey?
Oh yeah. So y'all check out the new
What's it
Facebook
called?
page. It's Buck Junkies Hunt Club.
Buck Junkies Hunting Club.
So go check it out. If you got some turkeys you want to show off, fish, deer, anything, we don't care.
Yeah,
Put it
post
on
your favorite call or what do you like and don't like about a
Throw
call.
something
Let's
out
see
there
the
and get
turkey
some
call video. If you
conversation
can call as good as me, let's see it.
Yeah.
Got
My
any-
call off.
Got any beginners out there trying to learn?
I'd love to see everybody's favorite turkey call, your favorite shotgun. I mean, one guy posted his turkey setup, his brand new retail shotgun, and he had optics on it.
I saw that. That's a good looking gun.
Yep. Had another guy, he posted a catfish, last week. Beautiful catfish, and he was, wanting to know what everybody else's biggest were. So y'all get on there and
check it out.
Put some old brim on this weekend.
That's right.
We'll fry me some brim.
Hey, it's
Friday
time to
night.
put some crappie on there.
It is.
Has Randy started catching crappie yet?
You know where to go. We went
Really?
Saturday.
Yeah, because the lake's probably all screwed up. Because I've seen some videos of people wade fishing already, but mostly
In
it's mainly
Arkansas?
Sardis and
Yeah, they
Grenada.
was Sardis Grenada.
Yeah, they're hitting.
Enid's down. Enid's don't have water right now either.
Yeah,
Well-
Walker Butler's out.
Well, Mark, take us on out of here today, man.
Well, we appreciate y'all listening. Again, check us out on all the platforms. We got some recipes coming out, some more content. We're going to carry along through the spring. We'll probably run this. We'll probably have content year round. We're going to run the podcast to probably, end of May?
We'll
of June?
take a little summer break. We got to get our summer plots in.
Yeah.
At least go up to
We got a lot coming up, so y'all make sure to tune in, and we appreciate y'all listening.
All right, y'all get out there and get some of them youth turkeys this weekend. Get them kids out there. We gone.